This is the Hey Ed YouTube channel, and I am your host, moderator, and all-around nice guy, Edward Anderson. Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I mention in any of my videos should be construed as investment advice. Always do your own research before you're doing anything with your money. And today, I'm going to ask the question, where did all the silver go? Okay, some pretty dramatic things have been developing recently regarding silver and gold reserves, and they are being depleted for some reason. So we're going to discuss that and also what it means to you and what you can do to benefit from it, actually. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the two big exchanges in the world for precious metals are the COMEX in Chicago and the Lbma in London. Okay, now these exchanges are responsible for setting the daily prices on these metals. So at the Lbma, every morning they wake up and say, where should we set the price of silver today? And they pick a number out of the hat and they say, we'll put it right there. Okay, let's start by pointing out that sovereign wealth funds, these are funds that are run for the benefit of countries, right? Like the biggest one is the Norwegian sovereign wealth fund, right? They're the largest in the world. But most countries have a sovereign wealth fund. Well, a lot of these countries are looking at what's going on in the world and they're saying, geez, they can confiscate my gold? They can confiscate my silver? You know what? I think maybe we should get our gold and silver out of those vaults and bring them home. All right? Look what the Vatican did. All right? The Vatican gave marching orders last month for all their assets throughout the world to be brought home, right? They want everything under one roof at the Vatican Bank. And I'm sure a lot of that is gold and silver. And if it's not in gold and silver, dollars to donuts, they're using a lot of that money to acquire some gold and silver because of what's going on right now. Okay, so an important thing for you to understand is that the gold that's traded on the COMEX, for example, most of it is not traded in actual physical gold. Most of it is traded in paper. They're called paper gold, right? And for every 1 physical ounce of silver, 300 ounces are traded in paper. All right, so 300 to 1. Now, what that means is if one of those paper holders wanted to convert their contract into gold, they would have to stand for delivery, right? They would have to notify the COMEX and say, please send me my gold. Now, that usually doesn't happen because it's kind of expensive and it's kind of cumbersome to do gold. So most of it is done in paper. Paper is not real gold, but it's 300 to 1, right? 300 ounces traded in paper for every 1 ounce. So what would happen if, say, half of those holders called in their gold? Well, those 150 contracts are not backed by 150 ounces of gold, they're only backed by 1 ounce. So you can see how big of a problem this is. Do any of you remember last year when nickel had its big short squeeze and it just skyrocketed in a matter of a couple of days? Well, same thing might be shaping up here. But this is what happened. Okay, created a short squeeze. For those of you who watch my trading tricks videos, you know what a short squeeze is, right? Now, as a backdrop to all this, keep in mind what's going on between Russia and China. So last week, President Xi left China for the first time in a couple of years to go meet up with Putin and to talk about their core interests. So, I mean, their core interests are energy and this brand new currency that they want to develop as a competitor to the US dollar, okay? And what do they want this new reserve to be backed by? Solid assets like gold, silver, oil, natural gas, that kind of thing. But let's get back to the matter at hand. Where did all the silver go? So listen, silver is in very short supply. And it's not just because of the people who are trading it every day, but plus silver is a very important industrial metal. As a matter of fact, all these greenies out who want to build their green new society is going to be built on silver, my friends. You know how much silver goes into these electric batteries for these cars and into solar panels and all the rest of it. Anyway, but even beyond that, silver as an industrial metal is in high demand right now. So you have the silver supply being drained from two angles. People are trading it and people are using it for production. So let's take a look at this chart. So let's look at the summary here. Over the last year, registered has lost over 50 million ounces, or 48.5%. A repeat of last year would see COMEX registered fully exhausted. So over the last year, okay, the COMEX has reduced their inventory by 48.5%. Half of the silver is gone. It's out of the vaults. Okay, which means if we have another year like last year, it's gone. It's all gone. People out there are taking delivery. And my guess is that a lot of that is because of the sovereign wealth funds wanting their silver back and their gold. And furthermore, let's take a look at this article. London silver inventories continue to plummet as metal exits Lbma vaults. There is an unprecedented situation emerging in London where the relentless hemorrhaging of one of the world's largest stockpiles of silver is now well and truly underway. For the last 9 months, this stockpile of silver held in the Lbma vaults in London has been consistently falling each and every month and has now reached an all-time low since vault holding records began in July 2016. So let's scroll down here and let's just take a look at this chart. Look what has happened over the past year. Let's not overthink this, okay? The COMEX down sharply, okay? The silver in the Lbma down sharply, really big. You have contracts written against all this silver and gold in multiples of what they actually have. So you're probably asking, well, why would they write contracts against gold and silver that they don't have in their vaults? Well, just like a bank, right? They like to make money off of what they pretend that they have, right? You know, and look, banks don't really have money, right? They pull the money out of thin air by hitting a few keystrokes on a computer, and they're given that right because the Fed gave them the authority to do that. So banks make up fiat currency. So the COMEX and the Lbma do the same thing. And the COMEX and the Lbma, they are notorious for manipulating the price of these metals. These metals, if these metals were actually going to rise to fair value, boy, I think, as a matter of fact, I know we would be looking at much higher prices for both of these metals. Now, is there going to be a short squeeze in silver and gold? I can't say for sure, but I want you to be aware of what's going on, what could happen, because one day we could see an event like we had last year with the nickel. Okay, we could see a massive spike up in the price of gold and silver. I'm not even going to talk about what's going on in Moscow right now and the competing exchange that they want to create for gold and silver as a whole. That's a whole new rabbit hole. So what do you want to be doing? Okay, like I've been talking about for a while, you'll want to be getting these guys. You want to be getting gold and silver, okay? My favorite is to get the silver coins and the silver bars, okay? But they're getting harder and harder to get. Now, I do have a program that I'm involved with called 7K Metals that my group is involved with for getting our gold and silver. It's a wonderful program, and you really should look into it. So if you have an interest in that, if you want to look into that, I'll have my contact information in the description below. Reach out to me, and I can send you some information. I also have some videos on my YouTube channel on 7K Metals that you can look at. So that's it. Where did all the silver go? and where is all the gold going as well, right? Where is it all going? My guess is that the sovereign wealth funds are calling them in because they want them at home, okay? Because with all the confiscation going on around the world randomly by governments, namely the United States government, I think they would rather have it in-house. But the net effect is that the supply of silver and gold in the vaults of Lbma and COMEX are down dramatically. So get some of these guys, gold and silver, okay, the physical stuff. You know, if you can't hold it, you don't own it, right? You know, one man's opinion, right? It's not financial advice. I'm just a guy on YouTube, right? That's it for now. Edward Anderson signing out.
Copy that.